I have 2 questions for you today, okay?
First question!
Did you ever watch Caddy's videos and think, God damn, I really love his dog. Can I have him on my boobs? Well, boom! There you go. There's a shirt for it now.
Second question!
Feeling into the holiday spirit yet and thought to yourself, wow, dude, I really want a Bubsy the Bobcat Christmas sweater with Caddy strangling him on it? Well, boom! There you go. It's an ugly Christmas sweater now. Both of these designs have been done by What Up Nico on Twitter. Go and hire him for stuff in the description below. And also check the description below for the Pixel Empire to get these 2 new designs just in time for Christmas. By the way, if you use the discount code CADDY on checkout, you get an extra 15% off of your order alongside any of the hundreds of video game posters and phone cases on the site as well. So go and get some last minute gifts, why don't you? You haven't got long. Tick tock, tick tock.
I'm a fucking egg again! Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to the Caddicarus show, where I always have to do the dirty deed of deciding whether or not things deserve to be slaughtered or salvaged. And do you know what month it is? It's December, bitch! Which means hot chocolate, horrible, ugly, awful Christmas jumpers, opening the first door to your advent calendar, and the next one, and the next one, because it's the 3rd of December. And time to watch one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, Die Hard.
A New York cop, John McClane, has come to see his wife.
I missed you.
Instead, he's going to have to save her.
Oh man, what can you even say about Die Hard? It's an edgy 80s action movie classic with charismatic performances, brilliant lines, great set pieces, and a tense plot. I also really need to get around reading the book at some point, but I can't read. Bruce Willis wasn't unknown at this point in his career, but there's a reason everybody knew him after Die Hard. It totally catapulted his fame into insane levels, and good on him. John McClane is one of cinema's coolest motherfuckers, and his portrayal helped lead the film to massive success alongside a decent sequel, a great 3rd movie, a massively enjoyable 4th movie, and a dumpster fire. And of course it led to where I had to step in, video games. There's the NES game I'm sure most of you have seen the AVGN video about.
There's guys coming out of the elevator, there's guys coming out of your ass.
A Saturn game, and the all-time PS1 classic Die Hard Trilogy. It's the original 3 Die Hard movies in video game form all on one disc. It's like Alien Trilogy, but not Alien. It's Die Hard Trilogy instead. Obviously, why did I script that?
And the pure nostalgia I have for this game holds no bars. I have vivid memories of my dad playing it late into the night, me being terrified by the music, trying to play it myself when I was a kid to no avail, and now here we are, doing a Caddicarus episode about it. Okay, well, technically not all about it.
You see, unlike Alien Trilogy, which is basically one big game loosely tied together by the 3 movies' plot, Die Hard Trilogy is actually 3 separate single-player action games that all consist of different genres, including driving and on-rails FPS games. And dude, I can't tell you the amount of memories that come flooding back by the awful impressions of quotes from each movie as you scroll through the games.
Supposed to stay in your seats until the plane reaches the terminal.
You surprised me again, McClane.
But today we aren't going to be covering Die Hard 2 or 3 in depth for these reasons. Die Hard 2 is an arcade shooter like House of the Dead, but with extremely impressive damage detail and destructible environments for PS1 standards, which is a fun enough time as you're on rails shooting terrorists, collecting power-ups, shooting items for secret routes, and saving hostages. But using a PS1 controlled cursor is far from ideal. It's really sensitive and you'll make a couple of mistakes just trying to play normally, but it's still playable, like I said. It's a fun time, but if you want the true experience, you gotta use a light gun.
Hey, I must have been a good boy.
And as for Die Hard 3, it's a fucking disaster. You begin without being told anything aside from your life count, and then there's a compass, then there's a very strict time limit, then you're smashing into absolutely fucking everything at top speed, running absolutely everybody over, and before you can even figure out that the red marker is where each bomb you have to defuse is, the entire city is nuked. Tat, tot, and tickle my tits. Yeah, I think I'm gonna quit now. Actually, I'm not really sure. Think about it, ask a friend. Yeah, I think I'll ask a friend. Well, fuck you then.
Yeah, let's just get to the meat of this game, the most replayable and fun part that I have attempted and failed to complete numerous times. Die Hard 1.
You start the game, go up in an elevator to the garage of the Nakatomi skyscraper overrun by terrorists. Hear McClane tell everybody what the fuck's going down.
NYPD!
The music kicks in and then you kick some motherfucking ass. Oh, I've missed this game. It's been too long, D-hard. As you can no doubt tell, this game is a run-and-gun action shooter, and it's so much fun to play. The best way to describe it is by saying it's essentially an extension to what Die Hard on NES did, but just way better. Every level is a new floor of the Nakatomi Plaza from the film, and you need to clear each one of the evil terrorists and stop the bomb from detonating on each floor before moving on. There's a lot of emphasis on your score and saving hostages for bonus points, which is where you realise this is primarily an arcade game, which is fine with me. As long as there's satisfying feedback and a sense of progression, I can dig that. And luckily Die Hard is like that. It's a very fast and frantic game, but also very simple to grasp. As you follow a map that shows important enemies, hostages and items, you dart around, point McClane in the general direction of the enemy to shoot them and let the game figure out height so you can keep the pace up, jump around the scenery, shoot through construction works and glass, strafe around corners and dodge roll into shooting people in the head. Man, that feels good. Walk into hostages to let them escape, but be careful not to shoot them accidentally, and collect new guns with limited ammo from automatic rifles to shotguns and even goddamn machine guns.
I got a machine gun.
That's not how I remember that line from the movie. I thought it was more like, now I have a machine gun. Her. This doesn't mean you should play the game like this all the time though, especially in the later stages where see-through indestructible glass becomes more prevalent and you barely have any safe areas to stop getting shot from all around you. So trying other tactics like hiding behind doors or walls and then just waiting for enemies to patrol past while you fill them full of lead is a totally viable option. And one that does make the most sense considering how careful McClane actually needs to be in the movie. He's only one guy after all. It's very easy to let the adrenaline get to you, so this is as much a game of survival and patience as it is fast reflexes and speeding around. And for an arcade game that plays kind of like Doom but in a slight third-person style, I really bloody like it. But yeah, the gameplay mechanics are rather simple and the goal itself is very simple. Make sure that this number reaches 0 for every dead baddie, and then make sure you reach the correct elevator to deactivate the bomb in 30 seconds before you lose everything. But this doesn't mean the game is easy though, because it really is not. There's a reason I failed miserably at this game all those years ago. You die extremely easily, you have 3 chances for your health to run down to 0 before game over, there's a lot of shit to deal with, no wonder it scared me. Even looking for the bomb at the end of each level today still scares me a little bit. The countdown timer getting bigger, the mere 30 seconds you have to rush around, the music getting more intense the closer the thing is to detonating and giving you an instant game over, it's enough to make me cry! Or you can cry from the amount of times that you'll die from ambushes and traps from the terrorists. And I don't know what McClane is thinking here, but the last thing that would be on my mind when I'm dying is make sure I flex my fabulous chest.
Oh! 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 Do I look good? Honey, do I look good? Do I look alright? Tell me!
Am I supposed to answer you?
Yeah!
You gotta love the name entering screen though. Shooting people holding lettered signs, that's adorable. Yeah, and that high score was made by Caddicarus. Oh wait, I've run out of space. Shit. I guess Caddicarus will have to do. Oh, what? Wait a second. How on earth was your score that low? Fucking hell, Dennis! You get 5,000 points for every bad guy you kill, so did you shoot one guy, start shooting another one, and then just give up? Bloody Dennis! And hey, I've got to be honest, the graphics of this game as a whole hold up remarkably well. New York City looks really detailed in the third game, the first-person view is excellent in 2, and the models, textures, gore effects, and fire all look remarkably solid for 1996. 1996 this was! The blood is still gushing out in every single game of the trilogy, which is always fun, and the environments are just as equally and impressively destructible in each game too. I even love how on Die Hard 1 you get a little radar system on the bottom right that shows you where enemies are aiming at you from, and if they're going to hit you depending on how you move. This thing actually follows you like a secondary camera. It's like sight jacking from Siren Blood Curse but on the PS1 and during the rest of the gameplay. It's an awesome and helpful detail to let you know when you're in danger and can't see far beyond the foreboding darkness while someone is aiming at you. Okay, yeah, now I'm really not surprised why this game scared me. Have no fear though, because there's a really smart workaround for the 3D environments. Since this game isn't a top-down shooter like the NES one, or a Doom-esque first-person shooter, this fixed camera could have been slightly awkward in the cramped office and maintenance spaces. But the keywords there are could have been. In any kind of tight space, against any walls or near doors, the relevant parts of the stage are made invisible so you can anticipate what's coming up in front and around you. But it's only the bits that the camera is obstructed by and that are important to you at that moment, so you aren't playing through entirely transparent 3D models. You can definitely tell where you can and can't go, get your bearings of the level design, and see what's around you pretty much all of the time at the same time, and I found that so smart. But the most impressive thing, without a doubt, are the animations for the hostages. Jesus Christ, who was left in charge of these? They're hilarious. You save them, and then they either totally panic and wave their arms everywhere while walking very slowly, or they awaken their inner BG and swag the fuck off like a groovy gimp. It's great, you just save them, and then they're like, "Punch that shit!" I even adore the fact that even though there's barely a story to follow in any of the games in the trilogy, since they're primarily arcade focused, they still managed to get all of the details of the film in there, like McClane being barefoot like he is in the movie. Even the copious voice clips are a guilty pleasure of mine for as terrible the impressions are. Is that supposed to be Samuel L. Jackson? You've gotta be shitting me! In fact, let's talk about this. What's easily the most quotable one-liner from the entire Die Hard saga?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Exactly, so what do you get in Die Hard Trilogy?
Yippee-ki-yay! Yippee-ki-yay! Yippee-ki-yay!
Oh, I mean, rating the game an 18+, running innocent people over in a taxi and wiping blood off the windscreen and setting people on fire, shotgunning down waves of enemies and gushing torrents of blood and accidentally killing hostages is all fine, but we just can't have any...
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Naughty words! I thought that's too much!
Yippee-ki-yay, Muddy Philip.
And as it turns out, the game is proving to still be a little bit too hard for me. I managed to get to level 7, which is like 5 levels above how well I used to do, but then my save file was stuck in a loop of 0 lives, dying to the more aggressive odds, and just trying again. So unfortunately, I can't beat this game. It has once again kicked me down. But at least I can say I did better than Dennis! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, fuck! I guess that you could say I died hard. Well, I guess we could look at some cheat codes instead on this level. Might as well now that I can't pass it. Let's start with skeleton mode, which, oh, yep, it's skeleton mode, all right. Nothing really to see here. And then there's fat mode, which, oh God, John McClane, did you have a bit too many pork pies on the 4th? Or did you eat your own hair? I'm sorry, but this is just brilliant. Everybody now looks like a dinner plate with legs, and doing the dodge roll looks as roly-poly as I had hoped. Then we have the screaming plants cheat, which... Yep, that plant is certainly screaming, alright? This is just what I wanted for Christmas. Actually, no, now I just feel quite bad. And finally, there's the cheat known as Silly Mode, which sounds very exciting and is supposed to make all the enemies shoot you in between their legs bent over, but it just doesn't work for me, and I ended up breaking the game. Whoa, someone better call a priest, because I just found the holiest man on planet Earth. Get it? Holiest? Get it, son of a... Oh, come on, at least it was funnier than anything you'll ever say, Dennis! You know, Die Hard isn't the deepest arcade game in the world, and it's not even that great if you want to be critical about it. It's shallow, repetitive, and even though the music is gut-pumping and fantastic, there isn't that much variety in it. But I won't lie when I say this is one of my favourite PS1 games for a reason, and I have no shame in saying that. If you look at Die Hard Trilogy as a silly collection of 3 quick, fun arcade games based off of awesome films, you can get a load of carnage and guilty pleasure destruction for a trade-off of barely any load times at all, and 3 totally different gameplay styles to switch between really quickly. The game is a great time no matter how hard or bullshitty it can get.
So after all of this, Die Hard Trilogy gets the salvage. And I, for one, am very glad that it did, because the game was so successful it even ended up getting a sequel, Die Hard Trilogy 2. No, wait, what the fuck kind of Billy bullshit sense does that make? Is that supposed to be Die Hard 4, 5, and McClane can't pull the trigger anymore because of his chronic arthritis? Either way, it was a pleasure revisiting this game again, and it's got me in a proper Christmas kind of mood, which for December is all that I can really wish for. I think I'm gonna go and watch some Die Hard now. If it's your birthday today while watching this video, happy friggin' birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful.
Were you about to watch Die Hard without me?
Yippee-ki-yay. Motherfucker.
Oh no.
Your father was a swine!
Subscribe.
But thank you so much for watching this video, everybody, and special thanks to all the people on screen right now that donated a certain amount to my Patreon page in the description below, which is massively helping keep this channel alive in some of YouTube's darkest times. And special thanks to all of the top tier supporters: Omar Matu, Patrick Ferguson, Basil, Andy Ellis, Robert Alamsha, I Have a Portal Gun, Gamer Man, A.D. Thornton Smith, Oblivion Rising, Noxious, Kane Stewart, Ellen Rilpley, Kirsten B, QB, Nathan Young, and Nicole Ganara. Thank you again, every single one of you.